This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Welcome to episode 322 of This is the G Podcast. Man, we are kicking off August a bit differently with actress Cynda Williams. 36 years ago, Cynda began her career in Spike Lee's Mo Better Blues, starring alongside the likes of Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes. A few years later, she went on to star in the critically acclaimed crime noir film One False Move with Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, and Michael Beach. We'll talk to Cynda Williams about her experiences and the journey after this week's news recap with Syracuse Mike.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
Sunday marked 100 days until the November midterm elections. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries was in Pennsylvania Sunday, where he told a crowd,
Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans told you they'd bring grocery prices down on day one. They told you they'd stop spending money on stupid wars in the Middle East. They promised to bring energy prices down by 50% and get gas below $2 a gallon. The exact opposite has happened.
With the economy as the number one issue facing Republicans, last week, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson actually broke with the president and called for an end to military action in Iran. If the war ramps up again, gas prices, which are back over $4 per gallon in the U.S., are expected to continue to rise. The Trump administration is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to allow President Trump's executive order on mail-in voting to move forward ahead of November's midterm elections. The proposal would create a federal citizenship list for mail ballots. Democratic-led states are challenging the order, arguing election rules are set by states and Congress, not the president. Dr. Anthony Fauci invoked his Fifth Amendment rights during a tense appearance before the Senate Homeland Security Committee Wednesday concerning the origins of COVID.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Republican Senator Rand Paul, who subpoenaed Fauci, accused him of refusing to answer questions despite a presidential pardon and warned the committee will vote next week on holding him in contempt of Congress. Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy's wife is out of intensive care after being shot at the family's Northern Virginia home. Head coach Andy Reid says 57-year-old Mia Bieniemy is steadily improving.
She's a saint, we all know that, the people that know her. One of God's good blessings right there now. Really a special person.
Authorities say the couple's 27-year-old son was arrested and faces multiple felony charges. Investigators have not released a motive, describing the incident only as a domestic disturbance. More than 57 migrants are dead after a massive surge into a Spanish North African enclave. About 60,000 people crossed into the territory before most voluntarily returned to Morocco. Spain deployed troops and police to restore order. However, clashes erupted at the border. The crisis has also prompted France and Italy to tighten border controls. President Trump took an opportunity to showcase the situation as a reason to keep Republicans in control of the government ahead of the U.S. midterms.
If we're not in office, our country will be invaded at levels that made Spain look small time.
President Trump says Hamas and his internationally backed Board of Peace have reached what he calls a historic agreement outlining the next steps toward ending the war in Gaza. According to the plan, Hamas would disarm, Israeli forces would withdraw from parts of Gaza in phases, and a new Palestinian administration, backed by an international stabilization force, would oversee security. A senior Hamas official says the group has agreed to the framework, but Israel has not yet publicly commented. Details on the timeline and implementation are still being finalized.
Thank you so much, Syracuse Mike, for news, and welcome to episode, man, I am excited, episode 322 of This is the G Podcast. Yes. Of course, we do your news, politics, pop culture, and the tea with Tonya B. Man, it is a special week, and I'm kind of giddy and a little nervous because the backstory of this interview is, 1990. I just started as music director at the number one station in the ATL, Tonya B.
Okay.
And you know how it is when you're new, you got to be careful about what you put in rotation that you take credit for.
And what you say.
So I had gone to see a great movie, Mo Better Blues. Terrific performer, great song. Everybody in the crowd reacted. So I get back to the station, so I got to put that in the quiet storm. It blew up to the point where when it became a single ready for ads, we put it in rotation and it blew up. So top 10 single, top 10 hit, Out of the Quiet Storm. She is here with us today. I shot her a DM, which, Cynda, I never get answers.
Really?
For most, I've gotten a few. I've been lucky. I've been fortunate. But I was excited when she said, hey, here's my email. Send me the info. So y'all welcome to This is the G podcast. I'm excited. Cynda Williams.
Hello.
Showbiz Sin. And, Harlem Blues. First of all, Mo Better Blues. What better situation could you be in? You got Denzel, you got Spike, you got Wesley Snipes, you got Bill Nunn, Giancarlo. I mean, this is your first movie, right?
Yes, it was my first. I had no intention of doing movies. I never even thought about doing movies. But so many strangers, because I worked in a restaurant as a hostess in the evenings, as a bookkeeper during the day, came in with information about this movie. You really ought to audition for this movie. And so when that many people say something to you, you have to take that as a sign that you need to act. And so that's why I was like, well, I've never done it before. I don't know nothing about it. I don't even really watch movies, but I'm going to go and we're going to see what happens. And 6 weeks later, I was cast in that movie.
Wow.
I
did not know that. How you be with?
Yeah, 7 is a number of completion. So your first movie in 6 weeks, there's your 7 right there.
Yeah. Yes. And
Wow.
by the way, 7 people told me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it? And I know you've done tons of interviews. I mean, we're talking about 36 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done tons of interviews. You've talked about that. I did not know that you were a waitress who auditioned for this. How did the audition go? I mean, how did it go down? I mean, you're in that kind of room with Spike and all these legendary black actors.
Well, I think, first of all, I was a bookkeeper hostess, not a waitress. Very different.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hostess. Yeah.
No, the reason why it's different and matters is because the hostess is who greets everyone. A waiter just gets their people. The hostess is the person that greets everyone. So everybody saw me before they saw their seat and their waitress. So that way I had connection with people, especially the regulars that would come into the restaurant all the time. And they just liked me. They always asked about me and they knew what I did. So that, but I'm Midwest girl, born and raised in Chicago, Muncie, Indiana, very different kind of upraising than a lot of folks. So I was very much entrenched in the church. My grandfather's pastor. That was a part of my life. Very religious, actually, at this point in my life. I have transitioned into being more spiritual, although Jesus always going to be my man, but I just look at things differently now. But at that time, I was a very, very religious person because I was a 6-day-a-week church girl doing everything. And so when that many people came to me, it was a religious divine experience because I was like, okay, God's talking to me through them. And so that's why I took the information that they gave me and I went in. And long story short, because I have told the story a million times, because I am the type of person, I'm patient, I'm chill, I was a reader, had a book, had my water, had my snacks. I waited for quite a few hours for the casting director to come in. And it was in a casting building. So there were casting offices all the way around. It was circular. I was sitting in the middle. And the entirety of the time I was there, people kept coming up to me and asking me, are you okay? Who are you here to see? Because they were late. they weren't in the office. They didn't come in till, I don't know if it was 11 o'clock or noon, but I'd been there since 8 a.m. Wow. And I was chilling. I was like, no, I'm good. I'll wait. You know, my boss gave me the day. I'm good. I'm just wait. Because I didn't know what else to do. I'd never auditioned for anything movie. I didn't know the procedures. I knew nothing. All I knew is that many people told me to go. I must be there and I must meet these people and I must see what I'm supposed to do if I can do anything at all. Because I'd also heard by then they had been through Chicago, New York, LA, all the different spots. They'd been there already and did not find a girl. So this was their second round looking for this girl. And I was like, I'm the girl, you know. That's what the people kept saying. They're like, she is you, although she isn't me at all. But she's a singer. She's an actor. She's a singer, moved to New York, blah, blah, blah. That's you. I'm like, yeah, that's true. So after several hours of waiting, when Robbie Reed finally came in, I'm thinking Robbie Reed's a man, right? And I guess she got bombarded with all these different casting directors saying, you need to give this person a chance because she's been sitting here for hours, not tripping at all, not being, unruly, just waiting patiently and being cool about it. So Robbie's like, I got to give you an audition, even though today is not the audition, it's tomorrow. I was like, oh, really? She goes, yeah, we're doing a cattle call tomorrow. I said, well, I showed her the information that I had. And she goes, okay, well, I don't have a choice because I'll get attacked. If I don't, I'll give you a chance. Mm-hmm. So it was funny because I just moved to New York that year. And I was in at that point an off Broadway musical, which is the road I thought I was going to be on. I was a musical actress for the most part, and so I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to do it, but I signed my name one thing, and I told her my name was another. So my legal name is Cindy, and my professional name is Cynda. And so she's like, well, which is it? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just not used to writing it yet. It's Cynda. That's my new name because Cynda Williams, the Laverna Shirley actress. So that was my first audition, and it was only the first. The next day I came back for the cattle call. There were hundreds of gorgeous, beautiful Black women in there auditioning who were all extremely talented, I'm sure. But for whatever reason, I clicked for Spike. He was there that night. And then from then on, it was like every week I had an audition. And each time I went in, it was a different person that came in. So that first audition with Spike was when I learned how to audition for a movie. Because I looked straight in the camera, because I'd only had commercial classes, which is you talk to the camera. And so I did it through. I read the script through with him, and he was like, okay, all right, now, have you ever done this before? Have you ever auditioned for a movie? I said, no, I have not. He goes, okay. Well, you don't look at the camera. You look at me. You look at me when you're talking. I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, sorry. So I did it again, and it went well, obviously. And I sang every time. I would sing 2 songs every time I auditioned. And I think I sang God Bless a Child. I don't know what else. I don't even remember what else I sang. Something from my past life. Because like I said, I'd done so many shows and I was in a choir and I sang lead. And so I finally got it. And it was, but I never knew who these people were. I knew Spike from at the time Do the Right Thing was out. When we were auditioning, Do the Right Thing had just come out. So I had seen that movie. I'd seen School Days. I'd seen She's Gotta Have It, which was very surprising because the year before that, I'd never really watched movies. But this guy I was dating was like, you should see Spike Lee's new movies. You might want to do a movie with him one day. And so that is why I knew who he was. And I didn't know any of them people. They was just other people to me. When I met Wesley, it was Wesley. Okay, hi, nice to meet you. Giselle, hey. he's cute, come on. I wasn't tripping. They was just other actors to me. And for me, I was very, very serious about my stuff. I'm a serious person, not as much now as I used to be. I used to be like over the top on it. My work, my creativity is my life, and I am very focused on it. I ain't paying no attention to nothing else,
So let me ask you, I mean, you're talking, okay, and you're right. Some of these actors, they're not where they are now. So when you think about the attitude you had looking at those actors, just as actors, not as these superstars, what goes through your mind now when you look back, knowing you were in that room? Is it still the same attitude, or is it like, wow, I did that?
I think Denzel by then had done a television show and a couple of movies. He had just
St. Elsewhere.
He just finished Glory.
Okay, Glory. Yeah.
Glory. He had finished it, but it hadn't come out yet. Mm-hmm. It didn't come out until after we shot the movie. Mm-hmm. So, I've been acting my entire life. They were just a cast. And they remain that to me. Today, I respect everyone. I respect the careers that they've built. I'm so proud of them. But they're just another actor, just like I'm another actor. That's just what we do. I've never pedestalized anybody. Yeah. And I think that is because of my grandfather. My grandfather was revered by many. He was very, very revered in his community, and as a civil rights leader, as a religious leader, and even political for a while. But for whatever reason, he always treated me like a peer. It was very strange. He talked to me about everything. He told me all his problems. Yeah. He told me his flaws. He made it clear to me that while people can revere someone, we are all human beings, and we are all growing and evolving, and we're all flawed. So I have never pedestalized anybody. Even Barack Obama, when he became president, I was like, yeah, go, brother. I'm proud of the works that these people do. Yeah. But I know that they're human, and somewhere in there they've made mistakes. Somewhere in there they've been sick. Somewhere in there they've been sad. Somewhere in there they have made mistakes that they wish they hadn't. Yeah. And we're all just human beings doing our jobs and living, hopefully, our purpose. And I believe even those people that think they don't know what their purpose is, I think that's BS. The purpose for all of us is to live. Mm-hmm. Live, grow, evolve in whatever position you're in. If you're a well-known super, international star, or if your grandma down the street that just takes care of the kids, you're is just as important. And I just have never gotten caught up with that stuff, and I think it offends some people.
Honestly, for you, but, and I got to say this. I mean, it keeps you grounded later in life.
I'll never forget a time. Like I said, I was very religious, and I was very into the church. I was doing a lot of things. My father was not. My father was a Buddhist. He was very much into quantum physics and spirituality. That's why I started learning about so many things, because I was interested in what he was interested in. But one time after church, I was walking out of the back of the church and towards the parsonage. And I don't know why he said it. I don't know what he saw in me. But he pulled me over. He's like, look. You are just a person. You are not special. You are just a person. Don't you ever forget it. And I cried because I didn't know where it was coming from. It really hurt me because my dad always was that way. He was always humbling everybody. And I was like, what did I do to deserve that? But it kept me grounded in the reality of we're all children of God. We are all here for a reason. Even the ones of us that are infamous and doing things others don't understand. There's a purpose that we don't understand. We're all here for a reason, and to never think that I am above or below anybody.
Yeah, quick question, because you go from the success of Mo Better Blues.
Mm-hmm.
You have a top 10 R&B single, and you go to Sony and you talk about a deal, and apparently it didn't go well. Can you talk about that?
Well, there were many things that happened that were a shock for me. I wasn't ready for in show business at that level, to go from a church actor and a college regional performer to that level. No one in my life knew about that life. No one could prepare me for that. All they could do is prepare my character and grounding me in my spirituality and who I am as a person, and teach me how to act and sing. That was it. All the other stuff, the business, the showbiz stuff, nobody knew what to tell me. So when I got in this stuff, it was overwhelming and not very pretty. It was not, I don't talk often about specifics, because I really believe that God is the judge of all. And so I just try to grow and learn and look at my parts and things, and then keep it moving. But let's just say there was a lot of animosity because of that in me. Because I would not follow the rules. I would not do what was requested. I just couldn't play those games. And so a lot fell apart very early for me because I would not say yes to the requests of me. And I'm not saying that's why the Sony thing didn't work out. I know it's all tied. It's all connected. Let's just put it this way. I was approached by two suited men offering me the world, everything I ever wanted. You'll be the wealthiest woman. You'll be the most famous international star. You'll be this. All you got to do is this. This is all you got to do. And I was like, that don't sound right to me.
Damn.
I said,
excuse me, but yeah, you know.
Yeah,
I
would love to work with you. Please let me. I would love to work with you, but you can't control my life. And they were like, are you sure about that? I'm like, absolutely, I'm sure about that. And I'm 23. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know who I'm talking to. Yeah. I just am totally ignorant. And they were like, oh, okay then. And then everything fell apart. Everything fell apart.
I'm looking at, because I do want to go into One False Move, because that's one of my favorite movies.
And my lifesaver, my career saver.
Good stuff. But before I go there, I want to mention this. Tonya B and I have conversations all the time around Oscars, and I get pretty passionate because, I still feel that Black actresses struggle hard, like. At a point when it's 2026, why is the struggle so hard? When I look at Forbes and you don't see any Black actresses on Forbes, of course there are few that have maintained, but you see so many come out with a big splash and they disappear. And I was talking to her the other day, and I'm a 90s guy. I mean, well, I'm really kind of a 70s guy, but, keeping it real. But when I think about Mbouche Wright, like from what was the movie? Blade,
Fresh, the Fresh
and
one.
Fresh, Dead Presidents, and then Nowhere. I'm not saying Nowhere, but or I see Paula Patton come out, make a big splash, all of a sudden no roles, nothing. I mean, well, they're probably still doing things. We don't see them independent, so on and so forth. And there's nothing wrong with being independent, because the independents are winning big now. But why do you think it happens? Is it because they're being approached in a way that they disagree with?
I have no idea anyone else's journey, because unfortunately we we've been more crabs in a pot than not. We have not communicated with each other, supported each other, tried to lift each other up. My experience is I've been used but not befriended. That's why I don't hardly have any friends that are entertainers, because it's constantly striving to climb on the backs of other crabs to reach out. And so they very well might have had the same experience as me.
Yeah, because I saw your post. You're the lone wolf on your TikTok, and I get that. I mean, it makes sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really have hardly any friends. I have acquaintances galore. I have people that know me. They know me well. They think. But in my circle, it's a very small circle. I literally talk to my daughter, but I have to, consider how much that I do with that. I just have a couple of friends, and then I got my sisters. I got my family who I love, but I'm just little Cindy to them, the actor. They don't have a whole lot of respect for me when it comes to adult things. They're just like, oh, she was famous, and that's all they see, because that's what they
family.
know. They don't know me, right?
Yeah.
So
you talk about humbling. Family is humbling. Yeah. You're right.
I tried to have friends in the business. Certain actors I really, really cared for, but it would always be stopped. It would always be stopped. It would never go forward, especially one specific actress. I thought, okay, here's a sister. Here's somebody. And it was put to an end by her management. They were like, no, you cannot work with her, because she was trying to make some stuff happen because of some things I had done for her. And her manager was like, nah, you are her competition. No.
So that's more like the Dorothy Dandridge situation.
Yeah. They completely stopped any growth between us, because I know I helped her as an actress, and I know she could have helped me as a star. Yeah. But it was not allowed. It was stopped in its tracks in the meanest way. And so I do believe that a lot of people get in the door because they're amazing. Back in the day, now it's hard to get in the door at all. But they got in the door because of their talents, because of their looks, because of their whatevers, and because of the desires of some people in power. But once they got in the door and certain things were presented, if their lives were anything like mine, and they didn't want to do that, then that's why they disappeared. I'm guessing. I don't know. I just know what happened to me. I did not follow the rules. I've heard so many stories about me that are hilarious, that are none of which are true. I mean, they were creating scenarios to bash me and destroy me because I would not get on board. And certain really horrible things happened to me in the beginning that people created whole lies and scenarios about me just so if I ever came out and told the truth about the things that happened to me, they think they would be protected because they smeared my name. Wow. And I've met people that are like, when they meet me, they're like, oh my God, you're nothing like I was told you are. I was like, yeah, because it was all created. It's, people believe what they hear.
When I look at your path and your look, when in that position as an actress, yeah, you were a threat to some of these newcomers or some of the ones who were on your level. So I hear that, and I agree with you. Even Tonya B and I in the industry, we're in the music, radio industry for a while. Same thing. Entertainment business. It's
every business, and I honestly
more so high profile. Yeah, people see it.
I not to pat myself on the back, but I think the threat in me was my integrity and my talent more so than my look, because everybody's pretty. Hey, you ain't doing this stuff back in those days unless you're beautiful. It would, that's a dime a dozen. You can get a bunch of pretty people, but people with integrity. I had this director tell me once, I auditioned for a big movie and I went in for it expecting a chance because I was called in. The only reason why this director called me in was to tell me that there was no way in the world he'd ever hire me.
Wow.
And I said, huh? What? Why am I here? Why'd you waste my time and my money to get here? And he's like, look, I just thought you should know. You have a reputation.
That sounds like radio. But go ahead.
He said, you have a reputation. He said, you are a great actress. I love your work. You are so good in everything you do. He said, but if I have a choice between hiring a great actress and a mediocre actress who will be my freak, I'm going to take the freak every time.
Yep.
I was so thankful for that. I was like, thank you. Thank you for that information, because now I understand what the issue is, because, I mean, not everything is yours. I mean, a good 98% of the things I've auditioned for or more, I've never gotten. Most of my work has come from offers. But to have an understanding of that extra layer of a wall that I have, that people talk about me. I found this out. I mean, I've been finding out stuff over the years. People talk about you. Yeah. They have those locker room conversations where, or those cigar bar conversations where they say, that ain't putting out, that ain't going to do it, that ain't going to do it. And you're eliminated before you even have a foot in the door. There is no door. So that's why I'm thankful for independent films. I'm very thankful, because those people most often were putting their own money into it, their own effort, and they're striving to get their stuff out there. So they do want the best. Yeah. They don't want somebody they know is going to do whatever they want, because they want the best, because they want to get past the fray. They want to get past, and they want to shine. And that's why One False Move was such a blessing for me. Because really, honestly, that was before all the blackballing began. That was I got that role before all of that happened. And I don't know if it would have stopped me from getting it had it happened before. But that was an audition, and that was strictly about what I brought to the table when I auditioned. Yeah. And my look, of course, and whatever, because, the girl was supposed to be light skinned, whatever, because she's mulatto. So that was important for that. But that movie proved, number one, that some of the stuff that they were saying was not true, that I actually can act. It's not a fluke. I can act.
And sing.
And sing. I can do all of that. And it opened doors for me that would have never been opened. I would have been a one and done if not for that movie. I would have been a one and done.
Yeah, let me say, the reason I love this movie, Carl Franklin is the director, and I saw him on, it may have been Turner Classic Movies. They were talking about it was crime noir, and it was probably one of the highly acclaimed crime thrillers. And what he said was they couldn't get funding for the movie. So they went to IRS Films, which also Tonya B knows it's a record label as well. And basically it was going to go straight to video if what I heard was true, what they were saying about it. In addition to that, it didn't get the marketing. Now, we saw it because I was in radio. We went to a lot of screenings. Atlanta was a big market. So LA, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, all the major markets saw it. I was blown away. And I recently watched it. I knew you were going to be on the show, so I watched it again. And I just forgot how intense the beginning is. I'm like, and this is a 90s movie. And the 90s was pretty hard. Anyway, you had what? What's the movie? I can't watch it again, but even Seven, some of the movies that came out in the 90s were pretty
very dark,
very
graphic,
dark,
brutal, realistic grit. Yeah.
This is a brutal movie. Like it sets the tone from the beginning, but it is a great movie. If you've not seen it. So talk about that. And Billy Bob Thornton, working with Billy Bob. And eventually you guys got married.
Yeah.
Which when we hear Billy Bob, the first thing we think about is the 2 blood vials. That's immediately. I mean, I don't want to go there with you, and you don't have to say anything specific about anything about Billy Bob. But how was it working with Billy Bob, and then Michael Beach was Pluto in the movie?
Yes.
And the late Bill Paxton, who really was a phenomenal actor and just incredible in this movie as well. So tell us a little bit about, that whole experience.
Well, it was a real mixed bag, because when I got that script, I was floored. It was one of the, to this day, top 3 scripts I've ever read in my life. It was phenomenal. It was written by Billy Bob and his partner, and it was an epic film. It was huge. It was a big film. I took 3 months to prepare for that movie because I had so much dialogue, so many monologues. My character was huge. It was a dream role. Mm-hmm. And I worked with a coach, everything. And then when we got to Arkansas, I was given a completely different script. Completely. It was pared down to almost nothing. Carl Franklin did not want an epic. Carl Franklin wanted a crime noir.
Yeah.
Wow. So he cut. So it was more about moments. It was more about looks. It was more about the feelings, the vibe, the tone, and less about dialogue and conversation. And it caused a lot of tension because Billy Bob was not informed until he was handed a brand new script. We all had prepared for that epic. Wow. That's what we learned. Especially Billy Bob, Michael, and I. Mm-hmm. Bill Paxton came on later because they were trying to it was Bruce Willis that they wanted for that role.
That's what I heard.
And
it's true that you couldn't get the funding because you didn't have a box office draw.
Yeah.
They didn't believe in Bill Paxton. Yeah.
Yeah. And Bill Paxton, I mean, he was like known for Aliens and stuff like that, this really goofy guy, but he's a great actor. But I will give Carl Franklin his props. No, I will say this. Carl was not happy that I was in a movie. He did not want me in it. He had another person that he had already talked to about doing the role, that he wanted to do the role. And I found this out right after my audition, because I guess she had also auditioned and it didn't go well. And so I won the role, and he was very, very, very unhappy because he had already seen her in it. And so it made it very difficult for him to vibe with me because I was not his choice. And right after the audition, one of the producers pulled me aside and told me, he's like, you know what? Please let us know if you have any problems. You were not the choice for everybody. So, and boy, did I feel it. It was very, very, very difficult. It was hard for me, but I just used it. I used it, I felt alienated in the situation. And so I was alienated, but I had, Bill Paxton and Billy Bob, Mike trying to make me feel okay. They tried their best to, so there was like tension all around, and somehow they got the funding. I don't even know how. It was very, very low, a very low budget. Mm-hmm. But I think Bill Paxton got Bruce Willis's offer. So it was a real stretch, but we did it. It was hard. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of yelling. It was a very difficult project, but I grew as an actress. I took all the angst that I felt and used it. And just used it. So the feelings that people felt from my character were real, I mean, very, very real, because it was the guy that I was dating at the time broke up with me because he had asked me for One False Move to be the last movie on the road I did. He just wanted me to stay in New York, do Broadway, sing there, and that was it. Because he was a wealthy guy, he could take care of me and blah, blah, blah. And we had a great relationship up until I said, no, I don't want to do that. I like acting, and it looks like a lot of acting is on location in LA. So I'm going to need to leave. And so he broke up with me, which was devastating because I love the guy. And so there was all kind of horribly difficult things happening during that filming of that movie. But it fed the movie. It fed the tone. It made it even better. And I know they said that they weren't good. They was going to go straight to video. It wasn't going to go straight nowhere. It was going straight on the shelf. It was on the shelf. They were not going to put it out because they did not like it. Nobody liked it. They did not like that movie.
Who did not like it?
Everybody except for Jesse. Jesse Beaton was Carl's wife, became his wife, and she was a producer, and she snuck it out. And she got it to Roger Ebert.
And they loved it. They went nuts.
That's when it went pow. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I love the movie. You didn't. You were going to just... I remember sitting around, Billy, what's going on? What's wrong with the movie? Why don't they put it out? It sucks. You know, he didn't like it. He hated it. And nobody liked it. And Jesse was like, this is a good film. It was like the women saw what was in it. You know, this is just I'm just opinion, you know, saying my opinion based on what happened to me. I don't know what was in the minds of other people. I just know what I was told and what I was experiencing, and I didn't understand it. I was like, y'all crazy. That's a good movie. Yeah. And but I didn't have a say. I'm just a mere actress who'd only done one other movie, so I didn't have a say in it. So I'm thankful for Roger Ebert and then Gene Sisco, because they were the first. It was on Roger Ebert's Cruise Festival, and that's where it began, and that's when people started talking about it, and then it was almost on everybody's number one for the year, you know. Yep. And then the awards started coming in, the Spirit Awards, which is the Screen Actors Guild Award. Carl won for Best Director, but it's very political, the awards stuff. You know, they spread out the awards. I was nominated. I did not win. The girl that won, I thought was great. I can't remember her name, but she was really, really good in what she did. But I think if things were different, I would have probably won. I think if things were different, we all would have been nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, I agree.
We didn't have the political cachet to go in there and, you know, really market it. You got to market it. You got to. If you don't, it gets lost. You know, I've been not judged. I've voted for Screen Actors Guild's stuff for many, many years, of course, since then. And one of the things I finally experienced was I was the pre-approver, meaning I got to look at all the movies and nominate what I thought was the 5 best or however many best for all the different categories. And none of them, none of my choices got through. And it was mainly because they did not have the marketing dollars to show, you know, all the big ads and all the fluffy stuff and get to all the different people that vote to say, vote for me. None of them. Yeah. That year, there were far better movies than what got nominated. And then eventually won. Far, far better movies. And that's just the way it is. If you don't have the money to get out there and campaign.
Exactly.
Or I
already see it with Variety. I already see it with Variety every year. Oh, yeah. I mean, they've already started the campaign for next year. So, yeah. Hey, quick question. And about coming up next year is going to be the 35th anniversary of One False Move. Have you guys even talked about doing anything that's one? And the marriage to Billy Bob during that period. But first, are you guys looking at doing anything for the 35th anniversary release or anything?
I have heard nothing, and I've never heard anything. I don't have a relationship with them. And
that's crazy.
I'm not going to get too much into it, but I don't have a relation. Now, Denzel, I actually saw, it's been like, almost 6 or 10 years ago. I saw him and we reconnected for a little bit, and that was beautiful because I didn't know that man. I mean, I knew Bleak. I did not know Denzel. He becomes the character, and y'all know Bleak. So what I knew of him wasn't very cool. He wasn't a nice guy. But the guy that I met 10 years ago was awesome. He came and saw me in a show and supported a show that I was in, and he was the nicest guy. I was like, "Oh, this is you. Well, nice to meet you." So I don't have a relationship. I have no relationship with. The only ones that I kind of kept in contact with was Giancarlo for a while, but then he's gone up and blown up. He's too busy to talk to the likes of me.
It's crazy. Go ahead.
Bill Nunn, he passed away. He and I kept in touch. Giancarlo and I did 3 projects together. We did a short film, and then we did 2 short films, one for some college kid and then one for Showtime. Bill Nunn and I did, it's called Fearless. It's phenomenal. It's a Walter Mosley, based on Walter Mosley, series of books called Fearless. It was just a half an hour. I hated that they didn't do it because I prefer it to the Devil in the Blue Dress series. I prefer the Fearless series to that.
Speaking of that, do you think that, well, definitely I would say, I know the answer to this. Did that impact the opportunity? Did your relationship from One False Move impact any opportunity you had for Devil in the Blue Dress? I would say yes, without a doubt. Because that was Carl Franklin's movie.
Like I said, I wasn't the choice.
Yeah, because my first thing was, okay, when I look at the filmology and I see you were in his movie with One False Move, and then I look at Devil in a Blue Dress, I immediately thought, well, shit, that could have been Cynda.
Yeah, I will say this, though.
Okay.
I have been mistaken for many things. Turkish people think I'm Turkish. Egyptians think I'm Puerto Ricans think I'm Indian. People think ain't nobody ever thought I was white. And that woman needed to look white enough to pass for today's standards.
I absolutely agree with what she's saying, and she did come around, really, I guess, came, onto folks' radar, Tommy B. When you had girls that looked like her, you had Jasmine Guy, you had Halle Berry coming up, you had Vanessa Williams, and then there was that look, and so I could see how she could absolutely have been just kind of stereotype, if you will, just lumped in with all of those girls that looked that way, because that was the thing back then. And that was, to me, a narrow-minded way to look and say, okay, well, maybe if they look, this light, maybe we can cross them over, and then, they'll be, well, just like music, the thing in music was to always, yes, it's cool if you were on the R&B chart, but we can get you over here on the pop chart. That's going to take things to a whole different level. But again, like you were saying earlier, Ms. Cynda, what it takes if you make that choice to do that is what a lot of people don't know. Like, the backroom politics at every award show, the Grammys and everything else, I'm sure the Oscars, all that backroom politics that people don't know about. And some people just can't withstand that part of the business.
Yeah, so true, so true.
Yeah, and honestly, I do want to finish the thought.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel, Jennifer Beals, Michael, what was his name? There was another actor.
White actress, black actress? Actor.
Well, that's the point. He was a black actor, but nobody knows he was black. He played Italian all the time. I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I can't remember his name right.
Bio. Was he in Eve's Bio as well?
No.
Wasn't that one? I'm not thinking.
I'm telling you, you don't know this dude is black. I know because I know his backstory.
He got the blue eyes. Him? The black
he has blue eyes.
I know
he does not look black at all. He just happened to be the one child that was born. And he at first tried to present as black. He told people he was black. He couldn't get a job. So his daddy told him, stop doing that. Do not say you're black. And so he stopped saying he's black. Ben never said he's black. Jennifer never said she's black. They work doing all kind of characters all the time because they did not claim being black. They never talked against being black, but they never out loud claimed it. And so they played white, They played Italian. They played Jewish. They played Tom Sizemore. Tom
Sizemore. What?
Yes.
He's one that I'm looking for the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Carol Channing.
I did not know.
She admitted on her deathbed.
Yeah.
That she was not a white woman, but she passed, for 90 some odd years?
Yeah.
Hey, come on now. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I can't pass. I am not, you see the black in me. I mean, I'm very much look like my mom and everything else, but my dad was such a beautiful shade of black as berry that it transferred to me. I remember Spike saying that. He was like, you know what? I know you're mulatto. I know all of that, but you don't look it. He said, there's nothing about you that reads like you got any white in you. He said, you're not like the normal biracial person. I was like, that's because I was raised black. I was, my mom like turned her own back on her own culture, her stuff. And she tried to fit in. Everybody thought she was mixed. You know, she would wear afros and stuff, stay tanned. Because she, you know, loved the culture of us and our family. And so she didn't even claim it till later. Near the end, my mom was almost about to pass away. You know, she had to go in a nursing home. And she was like, I hope you're not putting me in a place where my people aren't there. I'm like, what you talking about, Mommy? He's like, I need to be around my people. I'm like, well, who are your people? You know what I'm talking about. I said, if you're talking about black people, Mommy, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you remembered. You are white. You are white.
Tina Marie.
Yeah. You look at people like the actor I was talking about was Wentworth Miller, the guy with the blue eyes. You know, yeah. And then, I mean, until this whole thing came up with when she went with the prince, Meghan Markle was just that chick from the TV show Suits. You know, she was
nobody knew what she was.
Yeah.
Well, I'm blown away by Tom Sizemore. I'm like,
well,
what?
that's not a really public story. You know, I just learned that, you know, the last movie, I did a movie with him and I learned about his past at that point. And, you know, I don't know how public, maybe I shouldn't have told that story, but
when you Google, I just Googled it, his name comes up on top of Wentworth Miller. So it is out there.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was telling people at the end, because he had to tolerate sitting in rooms with racists all the time. And his family looks, his siblings look more like me. His parents are black, and he came out looking white, and then had to deny his blackness, and then sit in those rooms with those racists. And it's I know it affected him in a very negative way because he felt like he was betraying his own. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, how horrible.
Yeah, I want to get to it before we wrap on film, because I do want to talk about the stuff you're doing now, and definitely, you know, your performances and your music. Billy Bob, your marriage, you guys were married before the film.
We weren't married before the film. We were married after the film. When I did the film with him, like I said, I was with someone else, and that someone else broke up with me, and because we did the LA stuff first, and then the Arkansas stuff. So when my boyfriend broke up with me, I didn't know what I was gonna do, honestly. And Billy Bob was like, "You should come to LA. That's where you need to be. If you want to do independent film, that's where you need to be." And so he was the one that opened the door for me to go there. And then that's when the relationship began. And if I'm going to be honest, when I was young, remember the religious conversation? I was very religious, and I still do this to an extent. Although I question things in my heart more now with a wiser lens. I do what I feel my heart is telling me to do. And I felt like that man was on a road to destruction. And I believed that he was a genius and needed to be supported, encouraged, and uplifted. He's a very charismatic person. He has a lot of issues. Not the nicest person all the time. difficult time in my life. It was no fun. But I did it. I was with him because I felt like I was supposed to be. I felt like I was supposed to help him, and I did. And I helped him in a lot. It cracks me up when I see stuff. You know, somebody sent me something where it was saying the reason why I was with Billy Bob is so I could have a career and his money. That didn't come until after me.
86.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, 96.
96. That did not come until after me. He didn't have nothing. I was the one that was the star. I was the one that had money. I was the one that took care of everything. When we were together, I even helped him write Sling Blade, the short version. I helped him with that. He doesn't say that to anybody, but I took care of us. Yeah. I did.
And that's the thing when you look back, and he recently did an article, and he talks about the women who pulled him out of the gutter for the most part. It just seems like a pattern. So I
was there, and I was his fourth wife. I was his fourth at that point, and I was
7, 8, 9. He's like a male Liz Taylor. Been married how many times?
His mother told me, who I loved so much. His mother told me, she would call me Cynda. She said, because you're both Cindy and Cynda. Cynda. So you're Cynda. She called me Cynda, and she's like, Cynda, my son just loves falling in love. And I was like, yeah. I don't even know if he ever fell in love with me. I don't think so. I just think he saw a life raft in me. You know, he saw someone that could help him out of the place that he was in, because he was in a rough place and he was going through a lot. And call me crazy, whatever people want to say, I believed I was his angel at that time, and I was meant to help him. Yeah, and I did. And literally, after we were married, I took care of stuff. We didn't even spend time together. We were never together. Never. I was by myself all the time. He was off doing the stuff he did, and I was just by myself. And then one day he just calls me. He's like, "You're not happy, are you?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You want me to let you go?" I said, "Please." He's like, "Okay."
Well, he said you guys had no business being married. You were good friends, and you should have never been there.
Yeah. I wouldn't have if the ultimatum hadn't been made. An ultimatum was made to me, and I felt like, okay, I got to do this. I gotta. This is what I'm supposed to do. And a lot of times I do stuff that other people think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for, and I always say, I follow my spirit. It don't always make sense to me either. And sometimes I get hurt. But I follow my spirit. And usually I can see later why I was supposed to do it. I don't always know why in the present moment. But I just know what my spirit's telling me. And so I follow it. I've honestly, I've been married 3 times myself, and literally never was it for the right reasons. The worldly right reasons.
Right.
Yeah. I find out later about my second husband what was really going on, and I was again a life raft. Yeah. A life raft. Right. And then my third was because I got pregnant. I didn't even think I could, and I didn't want to do that either, but you're supposed to if you're a Christian. Marry your baby daddy, and so. But we're great friends. We're great friends. There are very few past relationships in my life where I regret a moment of them, even the hard ones, even the difficult, abusive ones. And that's none of my husbands, none of them. I've had all of that, but I don't regret it all because it all taught me what I want. And, right now I'm by myself, maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. But
you're in a good place. You're in a good place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm just, I have men coming at me constantly, but I would love to have companionship, But this time, I want it to be for the right reasons if it ever happens. I don't think marriage will happen again, but a relationship, I want it to be healthy.
And you know,
Health
I
is
think
right.
you get
Yeah,
to the
go ahead,
point.
Lane B.
I'm divorced, but I got to the point, and part of, you know, you learn from all of this. And my thing is, okay, you know, like you said, it's nice to have companionship, but one thing I'm not going to do anymore, I'm not going to settle. I'd rather be by myself, you know, in my space. I will not settle. And I think that speaks to also your integrity when you were talking about, you know, the things that you would not do that, you know, a lot of the other girls did. Sometime it worked and sometime it didn't, you know. But at the end of the day, your integrity and your credibility is really a lot of that's all you have, you know. And you don't compromise. And people know they won't come at you that way because they are, just like they said you weren't hard to get along with. You stood your ground. You would not acquiesce to what was going on at that time. And you stood on your credibility. And it's interesting how with women, they say, oh, she's a B, she's this, she's that. But if you're a man, oh, that dude is strong, you know, you know, it's always been that way. But I just want to commend you for not compromising your integrity. That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
In no time like the present have I been happier that I made those choices, because now the truth is coming out about all these things. And so many people that question my choices are like, wow, I'm so glad. Before my father passed, a man that I became a friend with, who was very famous, but we were friends. But before, he was trying very hard to get me in a compromising position, and I just never allowed it. After the beginning of my career, when I experienced the things I experienced, one thing about me, when I learn, I learn. And I was like, okay, so I can't do this, I can't do that, I got to protect myself this way, that way, this way. And so I would not do what this guy was asking me to do. And he was very angry with me for a while. But then I just think he respected me, and we actually became friends. And I used to hang out with him in his home and all this kind of stuff. But my dad would always be like, why would you not do this or not do that with this person work-wise? And I was like, because, Daddy, I'm following my heart. I know it's a dangerous position to be in, and I don't want to be in that position ever again. And eventually, all this stuff came out about this guy and all the things that he had been doing. And honestly, some of the things they were saying, I don't even believe, but I know what he was doing because I was there. I know what he was doing. And so my dad, he was like, oh my God, you were right. You were right. I'm so glad you didn't listen to me.
Because you are not special right now. Right?
Yeah, exactly. He you know, and there were a few times my dad was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you didn't listen to me. I'm glad you didn't listen to me. You know, many things I'm glad I did listen to him about.
Right.
But certain things he just did not understand. And I don't like, you know, berating or even telling the truth about certain people, because I don't think that's my role. My role is to work with people, respect people, love people, but know who they are. And, you know, but it's not to go out and do no tell-all books and stuff. I'm just not going to. I had a guy the other day begging me, please. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
Well, let me say your presence, and I do want you to talk about your experience with social media before we go. And I want to say thank you so far for the time, because it is a special day for you and your family. Your daughter's birthday is today. So I don't want to, first of all, thanks for agreeing to do it. It really means a lot to us that you're here. But I do want to, you know, just in terms of your experience, you're looking back, you've done the book. What would you tell your 20-something-year-old self? And I know a lot of people, this kind of the cliche question, but after all you told me, all you've learned, all you've seen, what do you tell Cynda 20-something right now if you had the opportunity to tell her or ask?
I just would say to her,
advise. Yeah, go ahead.
I would just say to her, you made the right choices and to not regret anything you do. And even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else, you continue to follow your heart and your soul's quest for doing your best work and being as kind to as many people as you can and love people. You keep on doing that, sis. You doing good.
And I love the way at the end of your post, you always say, I love you.
Love you.
And
love you all.
I love you all. That's cool. I mean, I'm like, wow. And Cynda, you have those eyes. I know your directors have told you when you're looking at people, it's like, you know, I'm watching you're watching their reaction. You know, you're very direct.
Yeah, I do love people. That's what's so crazy with all the difficulties, all the struggles when it comes to relationships or, you know, betrayals or whatever that everybody goes through. Part of my problem is I really know that everybody is beautiful at a spirit level. Everybody is a child of God. Everybody. I know that. I had a near-death experience. That's a whole long conversation. But I know I saw people's bigger self. I saw the higher versions of people in real time, and we're all connected. And before that happened to me, I just knew I loved people. I don't always like them. I don't always want to hang around them. I don't want to be in the same room with a lot of people, and I'm not. But I just can't help but love them. When I see someone that people dislike get hurt, it hurts me. I have empathy for them. I imagine every person, if I ever have a moment of an issue with people and I feel myself going into judgment, I always imagine them as a child. I always see them in my mind's eye of who were they when they were 2? Who were they? And I remember that we all started that way. No matter what house we grew up in, what parents we had, what circumstance, we all started out that way. And then life happens. Life just happens to take you wherever. And maybe the place that you go is not a place that many approve of. But I still love that baby. I still love you, even though I don't agree. You know, and so when I say that, I'm being real. I really feel that way. I really feel that way.
Good stuff. Yo, I got to say big thanks. Thank you again, Cynda Williams. Oh, man. Gave us a few more minutes, too. I really appreciate you coming on. And you're welcome back anytime on our network. Definitely stay in touch. I'll keep following you on Instagram and also on TikTok. Just man, I learned so much. Tonya B.
Oh yeah, you never know the person. People think, oh, she did this and she fell off, but he's like, you had a very full life. And may I just say that I went to purchase Pink Panty Confessions today, and I'm on a wait list to get it from Amazon. So it's sold out.
Yeah, can I get a copy?
I have to, you know what? Yeah, I call my publishers because I have so many people that want a book, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have to give them more. But I'm like, yeah, you know, give them the books, please.
Oh, is there anything from that? I know that's from, I think 2016 was when it originally came out. Is there anything that you would add to that if you were going to release an updated version?
Oh my gosh, that book is so old. It is so old. Literally,
it's still relevant.
It's relevant to other people. But for my life, it's old stuff, right? But I almost finished the second one and then got busy and never finished it. But even that's old now. So much has happened since. I can't remember. I think it was 2014 that I put that book out. And literally, I was in a collaborator on another book called Faith, Failure, Success, Surviving the Storm, which tells a big story about what happened to me in 2014. It's not all, I didn't tell every part of it because it's literally a few movies. What happened to me in a single period of my life, like a year of my life. And I talk about it in that book. But since then, I can't even, my life has been a series of books. So many things. I could write about little sections that when I talk to people, when I tell some people my stories, they're like, God, hey, how are you still standing? Praise to God, I guess, because I don't know. But I could write a series of those books. It's just every time it's a dream. It's a dream to sit down and write, but you need money in the bank for that. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta live. So I got a couple of acting gigs coming up that I'm very excited about that I know of this year. I'm attached to a bunch. I'm getting better material now than I've ever gotten in my career. I mean, if these movies and series happen, people gonna forget about the old stuff because I have so many great new things coming. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully I'll be able to sit down and write soon.
Good. In respect to you, I just want to respect your time. How do people follow you? You let people know how to find you.
Well, I am not very smart when it comes to social media because I have different names everywhere. So if you look for Cynda Williams or Cynda Will, you will probably find me at Cynda Will on Instagram. That's a good one. I have at Cynda Will on Facebook, at Cynda Williams, believe it or not, on Facebook. And an official fan page, which is just growing exponentially. I'm on TikTok. I'm getting ready to start a new podcast. I'm gonna still do my live show on Instagram on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Central, live and direct with Sin and Friends. But I'm also doing a new podcast called The Power to Empower with a Reverend Pastor Zilza Trotter and I are going to do that, and we just want to bring people up. We want to talk to folks. So that's starting in September. So I'm very excited about things, and I'm thankful to have people like you who ask good questions and are so easy to talk to. And hopefully this will reach somebody and move somebody in the right direction when it comes to their heart. I thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you. Tonya B., thank you so much as well. Oh, man.
So
you got to come back. You got to down the line. I got to reach out to you again and come back and keep us updated on what's going on with you. And have a good day with your daughter. I mean,
Thank you.
25? 25. I'm not even going to go into 25. Have fun. Thank you so much, Cynda Williams. Tonya B., we'll be right back.
All right. Thank you. Woo-hoo.
A massive thanks to actress Cynda Williams. As always, I welcome your thoughts. Go to castropolis.net, hit the people poll, leave a message if you like the show, give us your thoughts. Wherever you watch or listen to the podcast, make sure you follow us. Plus, turn on your notifications for new episodes. Big thanks to the crew, Man Vi, Tonya B., Talib Shabazz, Hitman Howie, Harold Michael Harvey, Lady J, number 34, woo, and Millennial Nick for the G Podcast theme. As always, shout out to my text chain crew. Man, thank you so much for sharing the weekly episodes. With that, episode 322 is in the can. Have a great week, y'all. Peace and power to the people.
You've been listening to This is the G Podcast. And This is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.